What's going on, guys? I'm IcyRhythms. Welcome back to another video. And in this one, we are talking the PlayStation 5 and a little bit about the Xbox Series X while trying to be as fair and as objective as I possibly can. If you haven't given my last couple of videos a look, they're both reviews, one from the PlayStation 1 as well as the PlayStation 2 with the other, and leave some feedback on this video, those videos, throw me a like or a dislike, depending on how you feel. And if you really feel like you liked it a lot, then you can always hit that subscribe button. When the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were originally announced, I wasn't all that excited. Some of the games looked cool and had a decent bump in visuals, but nothing that said to me as a PC gamer and a console gamer that I need to upgrade to these consoles day one. I can remember at that time there was a YouTuber named Brodeo, pretty well known in this community at the time, that once told me, "Hey, Icy, I think you're full of it. You won't be able to stay away from these new consoles and you'll get one of them day one." And that never happened. It didn't happen. I didn't feel that way. And even after some other announcements were made, I still didn't feel that way. My mind would not change. I refused to budge. Some of that would have been true to an extent if what the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One offered out of the gate in terms of compelling software had been a little bit better, but there just wasn't really anything there that was going to make me change my mind. The PCs that I had at that time, I had one from late 2009, early 2010 that I had got from Dell. It had like an i7 920 in it, and then later that year or early 2011, I built one that had a 2600K, and then I think by the time the consoles released, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, I had like a 4 gig 770 in there, if I'm not mistaken. So far more capable in a lot of ways. And then you fast forward to my 4690K build in 2014. Well, it only got worse for the new consoles at that time. It wasn't until about 2015 where I decided I would finally get a PlayStation 4 and enjoy some of the exclusives. To give you an idea how much I did, or maybe to some of you didn't enjoy the PlayStation 4, I think my played games consists of The Last of Us Remastered. I do have a review for that up on my channel if you want to go and give that a look. Dead Nation, Everybody's Golf, God of War 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Uncharted 4. So we have around 6 or 7 games that I played and enjoyed before the life cycle ends here at the end of 2020. Is that worth a $300 to $400 console? It's one of those all in the eye of the beholder things, I guess you could say. It's all going to vary from person to person. For me, it's a yes and a no. You have games like Red Dead and God of War 2018, well worth all the hype and then some. And then the others, I still enjoyed them greatly, but they weren't on the same level as God of War and Red Dead. Here we are in 2020, the Xbox Series X and especially the PlayStation 5 hype are through the damn roof. The one I'm interested in at this point should be obvious. I've owned all PlayStation consoles up to this point, and the generation where the PlayStation 1 debuted, where the N64 debuted, is still my personal favorite. So if you follow me on here for a long time, or you follow me on social media, you're involved in my Discord, you know that I still very much have interest in the PlayStation 5. Sony gave what I would consider, I think they gave gamers a new reason to be excited. In some ways, PlayStation 1 felt like gaming for adults. And while I didn't share a lot of the same thoughts as some of my friends and family at that time, many felt like Nintendo were no longer providing them with games that best suited the age group any longer. So I still very much feel like games are games, and a good game is still very much a good game, regardless of the target audience. I think Sony continues to do what they've always done, and their better first-party lineup of games are certainly more for those who enjoy a little bit of sex, a little bit of violence over things like amazing art styles and unique art styles, and games that are usually more about the gameplay than titles that try to be industry defining, pushing a platform to its limits. Let's talk briefly about the SSD in the PlayStation 5. Originally, I was of the mind that, cool, SSDs, been there since 2010, 2011. Thanks, but no thanks. You don't want to put out a video, you don't want to come out here talking all kinds of trash about the PlayStation 5 and the SSD and all of its capabilities until you have more of the facts or all of the facts. So I waited, and through further research and watching several tech heads on social media discuss it, including Alex and John from Digital Foundry, the SSD in the PlayStation could potentially change the way games are made. There's just one problem, and it's a problem developers will have to consider every time they make a game, and that's the PC. And to some extent, the Xbox Series X, because its SSD is not quite as good or as fast. With these two platforms, the PC and the Xbox, you hate to use the terminology holding back gaming, but we'll say holding back for the sake of argument in this video, with those two platforms needing to be considered when developing high-profile AAA games. You know, the only studios that may take full advantage of the PlayStation 5's SSD are Sony's first-party teams. Or, let me present to you another scenario, and this is me talking to you, of course, as mostly a PC gamer that's still excited for PlayStation in 2020, trying to be as fair and as objective as possible when discussing these things. What if midway through the generation, major third parties decide, you know what, the PlayStation 5 is selling like hotcakes, and in fact, even a little bit better than the PlayStation 4, maybe even a little bit better than expected, we'll just make it the lead platform. And while something like that, you know, may or may not cause any problems, or may not even happen, they may say, we'll put games on PC and Xbox at a later date when their storage devices catch up, because we're comfortable taking full advantage of the PlayStation 5 and selling whatever we can sell over here now, and we'll get some more money off of the table a little bit later. I'm not trying to tell you that this is going to happen. I really don't know. But if many developers decide they want to move forward and are more than fine with leaving tons of PC and Xbox money on the table, for now, this could become a problem. Now, if they still wanted to bring some of those games to PC and Xbox, even after taking full advantage of the PlayStation 5, we've seen amazing things happen in game development. I'm sure it's going to be possible, and they'll still run and look great. But will they want to before many PC gamers have adopted better technology? That is the million-dollar question. Let's try to keep in mind, because we need to check some people, and you can do all of this research yourself. SSDs are still just storage devices. They can do a lot of amazing things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to change the game entirely. The potential is there. The potential is definitely there. And there are SSDs that are superior to what the PlayStation 5 is offering, but a lot of those are extremely expensive. And I'm not just talking speed. Sony is doing a lot more with the data and streaming than just, hey, this is a fast SSD, buy our console. It's more than that, and I encourage you to, if you're watching this video, to read up on it a little bit and research a little bit further. Again, not saying that some of this stuff is going to happen. I'm just saying it is a possibility. And we've seen amazing things. We've seen amazing things like, hell, even I was on the fence. I didn't think you could ever see something like The Witcher 3 on the Switch. And I was proven wrong. It is what it is. And that goes to show you that a lot of these people that you're listening to don't actually know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to technology. So I'm sure if something like that is possible, having The Witcher 3 or Doom 2016 on the Switch, if that's possible, a storage device won't be the only deciding factor when it comes to keeping games off of other platforms, at least not for very long. But never say never. Just to wrap this video up, in conclusion, you know, this upcoming generation already sounds far more exciting, and I did enjoy the current generation of gaming. Make no mistake about it, but many have referred to it as a stopgap generation, and in some ways, I can agree with that. I think with all the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are doing, both Sony and Microsoft seem like they're afraid to announce a price at this point, but I guess it wouldn't make tons and tons of sense for Sony to announce a price without actually showing us the console first, and we're getting that in just another day or two, or depending when you watch this video, it's already happened. So exciting times are definitely ahead. But I'd say one of the companies between Sony and Microsoft are waiting for the other to screw up and do it first, which does bring me to my final point. I don't think with this upcoming generation, it really matters what Microsoft does. Microsoft could have amazing AAA first-party games, all rating, 90 or above on Metacritic, and I think Sony will still beat them. Sure, things like Game Pass and what Microsoft are doing with technology in the cloud delivers a lot of value and promise, but ultimately, Sony has the majority of the momentum in their favor, and Microsoft will have to do a lot more than what they're doing if they want to keep up. You may not see a new God of War or a new Naughty Dog game after The Last of Us 2 until about 2022 or all the way until 2024 or maybe even beyond that. But people know. The difference is people know these games are coming. These great experiences from Sony that they enjoy are coming. PlayStation fans know Sony will deliver and give amazing visuals, and hopefully this time some next generation gameplay along with it. I can see them putting out a new VR headset and taking another stab at that, and I fully expect Valve to put Half-Life Alyx on at least one of the consoles before it's all said and done. I think Sony is doing really great things here with the PlayStation 5, and even though I still feel like we know so little, this PC gamer, at least currently, is excited to jump back into PlayStation head first. I may even day one the PlayStation 5, and I love what Microsoft continues to do with things like backward compatibility. But that can only get you so far. Even though I do think it's very important, and it is huge for their brand, but we'll discuss that in a later video. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it, all the continued support. Make sure you hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit that dislike button. Go and check out my last couple reviews, or even reviews beyond that if you've never seen any of those. Again, I do have a Last of Us review for my diehard PlayStation fans if you've never seen that. So go and check it out. Let me know what you guys think. And if you liked this video a lot, even more than just feeling like, hey, I want to give this a like, maybe think about hitting that subscribe button. That would be great. You guys take care. Peace.